Hello, and welcome to my ranking of all the new February 2022 releases that I saw. So, in the month of February, I was able to watch 12 new movies. A couple of them were short films, and let's just get into the ranking. Number 12 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I haven't seen any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies before this, but I was pretty sure what to expect. And this movie is almost indescribably horrendous. It is horrible. I think this movie has the worst writing I've ever seen. Like, the characters in this movie are so incredibly dumb that I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, at one point, they're all on a bus. They have the chance to just drive away, and for some unexplainable reason, the guy driving the bus just decides to play hero, gets out of the bus, and 5 seconds later, his head is thrown back into the bus, and they're all screwed. I mean, just stuff like that just pissed me off, and in the end, I was rooting for Leatherface. That's how bad this movie was. That's how bad these characters were written. The dialogue is terrible. Like, once the chainsaw gets out, once the carnage begins, that's at least a little bit fun, but like the writing and everything like that was terrible. Number 11 is Du som er i himlen, or as it's called in English, As in Heaven. Now, this is a Danish movie that premiered on some film festival last year, but it just came out now, like officially. And just to say, this is a massive step up from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a very interesting movie, and it is very difficult to watch. Like, there's a lot of interesting, there's a lot of interesting story in this movie, but it just becomes so uncomfortable. And what really like pulled me out of the movie was the acting. The acting is really, really bad. For much of it, it seems like they're reading the words right out of the script. Now, this is an issue for me because I am Danish. I'm able to understand what they actually say. I think to many people who wouldn't understand it maybe wouldn't notice it as much as I do, but the acting isn't very good. In 10th is Heartshot. Now, this is a short film that dropped on Netflix in February, and it's a very easy watch. It's there are some okay sweet moments. There's some unexpected action that was fine, but it's not really more than that. It feels like the beginning to a pretty mediocre movie. In ninth is Vilmen, or as it's called in English, Wild Men. Now, this is another Danish movie, and I did a review on the channel for this, and some aspects of the movie are great. And anytime Rasmus Bjerg is on screen, this movie actually really works. It's a lot of fun. There's a nice bromance and some nice dynamics and a pretty fun story. But the issue is there's also a ton of side characters, and the director almost seemed like he wanted to give every single side character their own story and their own character arc, and it just became too much and became too long, and the movie never hits the heights without Rasmus Bjerg on screen the way it does when he's on screen. In 8th is No Exit. Now, this is a new Hulu movie that has a very, very good third act, but the first two acts, they were kind of slow and very dark, so it's difficult to see what was going on screen. And it's like the tension didn't really come to fruition during those first two acts, but in the third act, there's a lot of very intense moments and people trying to outwit each other, and once the guns start blazing, it's a lot of fun. In 7th is Moonfall. Now, I thought this movie was much better than a lot of people said it was. It came out in February here in Denmark, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. It's way too long, has way too many side plots. It is absolutely ridiculous, but it is so much fun to watch. In 6th is Death on the Nile. Now, just like with No Exit, there's a really dull part of this movie, and there's a fun part of this movie. Now, the opening hour, it's all set up, and it's not really interesting at all. It wasn't what I wanted from the movie. The second half was exactly what I wanted from the movie. Now, the actual reveal of who committed the death on the Nile, that was kind of predictable, but the actual investigation of it and Hercule Poirot's way of interrogating people, that is so much fun, and Kenneth Branagh is incredible. In fifth is Kimi. Now, this movie was pretty generic, but also pretty entertaining. There's not really much to say about it. It's a story that's been seen many times before. It's fun, but it's not really more. In fourth is Marry Me. Now, I had a lot of fun with this. I love rom-coms, and this is just a very sweet, kind-hearted one. Did I necessarily get behind how they met and how they got married? No, that's not really my sort of style, my sort of thing. But once they started getting to know each other, I thought it was really sweet, and I think Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson have amazing chemistry together. In third is Rose, or as it's called in English, Rose. This is the third and last Danish movie on this list. This is a very heartfelt movie. Now, I was at a special screening where the director was there and a couple of the leads, and maybe that enhanced my experience a bit, but I thought this was genuinely a very sweet and very realistic movie, given the fact that it's based on real life events and based on the director's family. I thought that was really interesting, and my only really big issue is one of the lead actresses isn't the best. The actual lead actress, Sofie Gråbøl, she is magnificent. She's absolutely world class. But the other one didn't really capture me the same way. In second is Forgive Us Our Trespasses. This is another Netflix short film that I watched just after watching Hard Shot, and I think it's pretty good. It's we've seen stories about World War II before, and in that way, it wasn't like anything new. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty entertaining, and really, just like anything from World War II, it's horrific that these things could take place. But yeah, it's a nice story. It's told in a short and efficient way. And number one, controversially, I know, Uncharted. This movie wasn't what I wanted. It was my most anticipated movie of the year, and I pretty much got what I expected. I didn't expect it to be good. I'm seeing a lot of backlash for this movie, as I'm sure everyone is. I thought it was entertaining. I am not that excited about any of the castings. I think Sophia Ali is by far the worst of them, but it wasn't what I wanted, but it was a lot of fun, and it's a movie I've been waiting for years. So I am just so glad that we finally got to see Uncharted as a movie, even though it wasn't what I wanted. Now, if you do want to see the Uncharted movie that I actually want, that movie is coming in a day or two. I just need to edit it. I have crafted my own version of an Uncharted story that I would want to see. I've done the castings for all the characters. And if you like Uncharted, I think that's a movie. That's a video you're going to want to see. So if you want to see that, please consider clicking that subscribe button.